Hello, viewers. Welcome back to Legend and Lore Stories. This is the place where we bring you heart-touching tales that speak of love, sacrifice, and destiny. If you are watching our channel for the first time, make sure to subscribe, press the bell icon, and if you enjoy this story, don't forget to give the video a like. Today's story is a special one, a journey that begins with pride and silence, passes through trials of fate, and finally blossoms into eternal love. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the story of William Scott and Hannah. It was night in London. Inside the grand William mansion, silence had taken over. The mansion was modern and luxurious, yet the stillness of that night was strange. The reason was William Scott, a successful yet cold businessman, who had just stepped into a new chapter of life. He was newly married, but not out of love, only out of duty to fulfill his grandfather Edward Scott's wish. As William entered his room, he saw his bride Hannah sitting quietly in a simple white dress. She was the daughter of a modest family, pulled into this world by fate. William's voice was cold. "I did not marry you for love, Hannah. This was only for my grandfather's wish." Hannah lowered her eyes and softly replied, "I accepted this marriage to protect my mother's honor. Love was never the reason." Those words pierced through William's pride. He had always thought women to be weak and submissive, but for the first time, someone had stood before him with dignity and strength. The room went quiet, but inside, a storm had begun to rise in both their hearts. This was the moment their real story started. The early days of their marriage were distant and filled with silence. William would issue orders, and Hannah would quietly follow them. But life changes in the smallest of moments. One morning when Hannah served him tea, William said absent-mindedly, "Today the tea is better." A simple line, but it left a spark of joy in Hannah's heart. She thought perhaps this man was not as heartless as he seemed. William, too, felt conflicted. All day at the office, her face would rise in his thoughts. "Why does this girl affect me? This marriage was only duty, not love," he kept asking himself. One evening, he returned home to find Hannah watering the plants in the garden. The moonlight shone on her face, her scarf flowing lightly in the breeze, her hands moving with grace. William stood at the doorway for a long while just watching her. In that moment, for the first time, he felt that love might not be a weakness after all, but a power that quietly changes hearts. The early days of their marriage were distant and filled with silence. William would issue orders, and Hannah would quietly follow them. But life changes in the smallest of moments. One morning when Hannah served him tea, William said absent-mindedly, "Today the tea is better." A simple line, but it left a spark of joy in Hannah's heart. She thought perhaps this man was not as heartless as he seemed. William, too, felt conflicted. All day at the office, her face would rise in his thoughts. "Why does this girl affect me? This marriage was only duty, not love," he kept asking himself. One evening, he returned home to find Hannah watering the plants in the garden. The moonlight shone on her face, her scarf flowing lightly in the breeze, her hands moving with grace. William stood at the doorway for a long while just watching her. In that moment, for the first time, he felt that love might not be a weakness after all, but a power that quietly changes hearts. With time, their relationship began to shift. One day, William told her, "Don't be afraid, Hannah. I am not a monster." Hannah's heartbeat raced. For the first time, she felt the walls around his heart breaking. Slowly, small gestures brought them closer. A thoughtful gift, a soft word, or simply sitting together in silence. Then one night, William confessed, "At first, I thought of you as a responsibility, but now I realize you are my need." Tears welled up in Hannah's eyes. That night, in the silence of their room, Love breathed its first breath between them. It was the moment they both silently accepted that this bond was no longer just marriage by duty. It had become a union of hearts. That night, closeness bloomed, not of bodies, but of souls finding one another. But happiness did not last for long. Within weeks, Hannah's health began to falter. William rushed her to the hospital, where the doctor gravely said, "Mr. Scott, your wife is suffering from early-stage bone marrow cancer." The words shook William's world. The woman he had just begun to embrace with his heart was slipping away. Yet he refused to give up. He vowed to stand by her side every moment. Through chemotherapy, as Hannah's hair fell and her body grew weak, William never left her side. He made sure she had her medicines, her meals, and most importantly, his strength. Often he would hold her hand and whisper, "If you are not here, Hannah, then nothing matters. You are my life." Hannah's eyes held hope, and that hope rested only on William. For 3 months, they fought the battle together. And then one day the doctor smiled. "Congratulations. Hannah is completely cured." William's eyes filled with tears of joy. He embraced her tightly and said, "I was late in loving you, but now I will never stop." The mansion filled once again with light and happiness. Grandfather Edward hugged Hannah and said, "You are not just William's wife. You are my granddaughter, too." It was a moment Hannah would never forget. Yet the real light was in their hearts. One night, the room was dimly lit, filled with fragrance and the peace of love. William gently placed his hand on her shoulder and whispered, "Tonight, you are not just my wife. You are my soul." Hannah lowered her gaze and smiled. The moment was complete. When the sun rose the next morning, they lay side by side, smiling at one another. William softly said, "This is not a debt of love I repaid, Hannah. This is the life I want to live with you." Hannah rested her head on his chest and whispered, "This is not a debt anymore, William. This is my right, forever." Their bond had now survived pride, silence, sickness, and trials, transforming into a love that was eternal and unbreakable. Dear friends, this was the story of William and Hannah. A love that began with pride, endured the storms of life, and finally became a bond of the soul. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel Legend and Lore Stories, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your love and support is what keeps us going, and it motivates us to bring you more such unforgettable tales.